Hello and welcome everybody to our webinar. We are going to give people a minute to file in after probably back-to-back meetings and other webinars. So as we wait, I do have a joke for you. Why do elevator jokes make such good classic jokes? They hit on so many different levels. Oh, that pushed it a little bit.
I think I thought for a second that you forgot about the joke and you were asking a question.
I almost forgot how to deliver it, I'll tell you that much. All right. So we will kick things off right now. Again, thank you everybody for joining us today. We do appreciate it and appreciate you guys being on time. So today we are going to be going over Bold Build, which is a construction management solution. It's a full platform, and today we are focusing on general contractors, but as we go through this, I just want everybody to be aware this is something that can be used across pretty much anybody within construction, architecture, engineering, whether you're a GC, you could be a subcontractor, a specialty subcontractor. It really can be dialed in to fit your specific needs, and just keep that in mind as we go through. Also, it is a platform, so if there are certain pieces of this that kind of fit some of your pain points and you think can solve it, we can really focus in on those specific things with you once we get through all of this and maybe have a chat with you afterwards. So next slide, please. Little introductions here. So my name's Nick. I'm the sales manager here at Alpha Bold. We have Tayeb Ali, who is joining us, and he's going to be taking us through most of today's presentation as well as a demo. He's the VP of Consulting here at Alpha Bold, and as you can see on the screen, he has a ton of experience. We also have Mahmoud Tanash, and he's kind of the engine behind Bold Build, and he's going to be here just in case there's any technical questions that come up, and he can help us answer those. Next slide, please. All right, so what we're going to be going through today, again, we are going to be focusing on GCs, and so we're going to look at those challenges that are faced across the industry and some that we've identified that Bold Build can really help out with. We're going to look at what Bold Build is, and then kind of jump straight into a demo and try to use most of our time in there, so that way you can get a good feel of how it works. After that, we'll jump back out, showcase how Bold Build can actually solve a lot of those challenges and what see some of those benefits solved by those challenges. Open it up for QA, but if there are any questions throughout the webinar, please feel free to enter them in the questions box. I'm going to be on the back end monitoring those, trying to answer them as best as possible. If I can't, I'll open it up to the crowd or to Tayeb, and we'll answer it as we go. Then we'll kind of go over what the next steps could be if you are interested in Bold Build. And then we'll look at some of the packages that we've created to give you guys a sense of what each package includes, as well as pricing. So next slide. This is where I'm going to hand it over to Tayeb. And again, if there are any questions, please fill them out in the questions box. Tayeb, all yours.
Thank you so much, Nick. And hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. So like Nick mentioned, I'll walk you through a little bit of challenges. I'll try to walk through those quickly and jump right into a Bold Build overview and a demonstration. Super excited about showing you some of the features because some of them you haven't seen before. I'll not be able to obviously go in depth on all of them because each one of them can be in itself a webinar. So I'll just try to cover as much as I can to give you an overview, and then we can have follow-up sessions if you have questions or if you want to have a deeper dive. So I want to start with challenges here. And this is one of the most important slides as well. We obviously see that within this space of construction management, companies have to deal with many different apps to be able to run their projects, as well as those apps, they are not always connected. And within those apps as well, there are challenges in terms of the core functions that we have to perform to get a project up and running and then executed successfully. So some of them you have here. So you see that most of the general contractors as well as the estimators, they take around 45% of prepare a bid in 4 to 6 weeks, 45% of them, which is a huge number. They have some challenges on the project management side of things, where you can see that they fail to capture and review data consistently. And then collaboration, which is the biggest challenge across the industry, because you have so many different actors. You have your BDRs, your estimators, your pre-construction folks, your construction people, your field people, and all of them be able to collaborate effectively is very, very important. So these are some of the big challenges that we have in the industry. And we have built BUILD in a way that it can address these challenges. So hopefully I'll be able to showcase some of that. Then we do believe that—
Before you move on, if anybody's been a part of our webinars before, they know I love polls. So I'm going to launch a poll for you guys now. I just kind of want to get a sense for what you guys feel are some of your pain points, and if you guys are facing any of those challenges that we've identified. So is project management a big challenge for you guys? Document management? Is it RFIs and submittals? Is it the vendor and subcontractor management, estimation, bidding? We would love to know your thoughts, because the more feedback we get from you guys, the more we can adjust our platform, but also our content around, so that way we can fit the needs of what you guys are facing out there. So we got answers coming in. It looks like project management is actually tied with vendor and subcontractor management. So we're seeing those answers, and then a couple of people with estimation and bidding. I'm gonna leave this open for 3 more seconds. Perfect. Again, thank you guys for your responses. We truly do appreciate it. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Nick. We do plan on covering a lot on subcontractor, vendor management, and project management. So I'm glad that their pain points align with what BUILD is trying to fix. And what you see on your screen is kind of in line with that as well. So across project management, we have categorized tasks in 2 categories. There are tasks that you absolutely have to do, like project execution and coordination, but you can improve on those. So we feel that if you have a right tool, you can improve performance by the percentage given on the slide. But then there are some tasks which are non-optimal and they have to be eliminated. And those are marked with asterisks here. So you can see conflict resolution. We can eliminate the 16.2% of the work that goes into that. We can eliminate rework by 15.2%. And we can also eliminate just looking for project data, because even that is a challenge in the industry, because you have a project going across multiple days, weeks, months, and then you can't find where the data was stored. So those are some things that BUILD can address. Now, a little bit about BUILD in terms of the platform and the process. So the things that you see on the left here, the challenges and the pain points, BUILD has all of these addressed. So we have a module that addresses submittals, RFIs, document management, project management. You guys talked about vendor process, vendor onboarding, vendor qualification, managing your subcontractors. All of that is covered in here. The way it maps onto your industry is that obviously these map across all of these phases. So you can call it buyout or estimation or sales, but then you go into pre-construction, construction, and post-construction. And these are modules that are grouped into larger modules in terms of BUILD. So we have an analytics module that gives you visibility across all of these. We have a field operations module, project management, accounting, and vendor/equipment management. So these are the modules that we have within BUILD. I'll be covering them more from the process standpoint today, but you will see glimpses of these across the demo that I do.
And again, I'm a poll fiend. So I do want to launch another poll, because on that last slide, you see a lot of different business processes that usually require a lot of different solutions to actually manage those, whereas BUILD can do all of it. I wanted to see how many different solutions you guys are actually using for your project lifecycle management. Are you using 1 to 2 to cover those? Is it 3 to 4, 4 to 6? Way too many, you can't even count it on one hand. We would love to know your thoughts, and hopefully maybe showcase how you really only need 1 and make your guys' lives much easier. So we got answers coming in. We got a couple of people saying way too many. We do have a couple of people saying 3 to 4, but it looks like the majority of you are saying 1 to 2, which great. I'm glad you guys have your different softwares under control for the most part. All right, I'm going to wrap this up in 2 seconds. Again, do truly appreciate your feedback. It helps us out a lot. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nick. In a nutshell, if you ask me, how can BuildFitters help you? So it helps you increase productivity. The productivity could be across collaboration, it could be across project management, your subcontractor onboarding, subcontractor management. And the way we do it is, if you look at these 3 lines, we focus on what's most important and we personalize it based on the role. We try to streamline and automate workflows, and we try to give you what you need to get your job done in the role that you have in the organization. So I'm now going to go into the scenario for this demo. Like Nick mentioned, that BuildFitters is a platform. So you could be using BuildFitters as a subcontractor. You could be using BuildFitters as a vendor. You could be using it as an owner or architect. But because our title for the webinar today and focus is general contractors, so I'll be doing some role playing. I myself, I'm going to be a general contractor BuildFitters. And as we walk through this project, we're working with University of California, San Diego. So Christine, I think, is the owner over there, who we will be working with. And then we have these other roles in there as well. So we have an architect in there, a company that is performing the architectural role. It is Blue Jam. Then I have in here a construction firm. And then we are also going to deal with some of the subcontractors and the vendors. So RCC, which is Rip City Construction, is going to be our vendor for cement, Prestige Concrete for concrete, and Bechtel is going to provide us glass for the sake of this project. So with that, I am going to go into the demo. I will be showing you the bid piece, estimation, proposal creation. And then on the project lifecycle, we'll show you vendor management, procurement side of things, how you onboard a vendor, going through all the phases of project, showcasing that to you, a little bit on contract management and field force management. Now, they might not be in this sequence because I want to show you from the process standpoint as to how these come into play. So it would mostly be a story in terms of how you go from your buyout phase all the way to project execution. And without further ado, let me just jump in. So if you can see my screen now, what you see on your screen is the BuildFitters system. Now, BuildFitters is a combination of many apps. When I say that, I don't want to scare you. All those apps are actually one system. The only reason we have those apps is because we don't want to have one system where sales see all of their information, estimators see their information, pre-construction manager, construction manager see their information. So we thought that the easier thing would be to divide up into apps so we could do personalization, and based on the personas, just give them as much as they need. And that's what I talked about. But at the back end, it's just one system. So it's one connected system, and I'll showcase that to you as well. So the first step that you see here, we're going to start the process from sales. And all of these apps have an analytics module in them. So what you see here is the analytics module. So you have this nice little dashboard, and this can all be enhanced based on your requirements. So you can see in here, I'm seeing that lead analytics. I can switch it over to my opportunity management, which is all the estimates that I'm creating. We group all the bids and estimates under an opportunity. So that's why we call it opportunity management. And I can click on these links and get directly to those. I can filter down on those. So let's say if I say I only want to see month of October, it just brings down to me the month of October. So that's just a quick overview for you for the dashboards. Obviously, know that if you are an executive, you will have an executive oversight on all the phases of your project execution, buyout, project management, pre-construction, all of that. But then I'm going to go into one of the opportunities. Like I said, I am BuildFitters, and we are working with UCSD, University of California, San Diego. My primary stakeholder is Christian Bale over there, who is the owner. In this case, I have a construction management firm, Miller Construction, and I also have an architectural firm. John Smith is my architect, but the name of the firm is Blue Jam, right? So this is how it looks like, and you have a process flow on the top. So it starts from the beginning. I have obviously taken it through to showcase for this demo. But if I go into the details in here, you would see that the first thing you do is you specify your site. You put in your service. So for example, we are doing some building extension for them for Elliott Field building. So we would be doing building renovation, all that stuff, and structural type of service brings in its own scope of work and inclusion and exclusion. Now, this scope of work and inclusion and exclusion is templatized. What does that mean? It means that as soon as I select one type of service, it brings in my boilerplate scope of work, my boilerplate inclusion and exclusion. I can change them, and whatever changes I make in context of this particular estimation that I'm doing, they would reflect on my proposal. I'm starting with a budget of around 140K. I'll go to bids in a second, but I want you to know that we have whatever you see in here right now. This is all mobile compatible, which means that if you are on the field, if I just click F12 here, you can see that this is my mobile version now. And everything that you see in the other version, in the desktop version, you also have on your mobile phones as well. So you can quickly go in and you can use it in mobile. For the rest of this demo, I will be using just the desktop view. But I just wanted to give you that impression because I want you to know that if you have people who go out and visit the estimation site so that they could estimate, they can use the system, they can use the snapshotting module to take quick photos. We can have them automatically uploaded on the cloud, and they become available to you in this gallery view. So your estimators can quickly review what they're estimating or have a discussion around that. But let's say we have done all that, right? And we want to go directly into the estimation process. So you see I have one estimate already done and it's awarded as well. And I'll come to that in a second, but let's start by creating a new estimate. So as soon as I create a new bid, it asks me for two required fields with this red asterisk mark that you see. One, I need to set up a site. Now I only have one site, so it automatically gives me that, and I only have one service here. But imagine you were working on a bigger project and you're offering multiple services, structural, renewable, some sub-specialization that you guys have. You have multiple sites as well, then you would have multiple bids for that. And then once I save this, we have two different ways we can go about the estimation. I'm going to focus mostly on doing estimation within our estimation app. So what happens is that as soon as I change this to sales app, it now shows me all of my breakdown. So I have it broken down by material, equipment, labor, service, subcontractors. I can go into materials and I say, I want to add my material products in here. And what happens here is, sorry about that. So what happens here is that it kind of gives me this product selection pane, and I can go in and I can quickly add, and then it just gives me all of these. If I want to remove something, I can just click it and it gets removed. I can change the quantities in here. So we've tried to make it easy for you. And if I hit add material in here, then it is going to add all of these materials in my materials section as part of this bid creation. It also brings in cost codes. It can be integrated with your accounting system. So it's bringing all of those things from here. But this is how quickly you can add materials. Then you can go through your equipment, labor, so on and so forth. Now, although this is great, but we know based on the industry experience that you have certain things that are prepackaged. Some of you refer to them as assemblies, some bundles, whatever you may call them, we have taken care of over there as well. So let's say if you do foundational work, and as part of you have to do concrete pouring. Now we know that you have maybe a bundle where if you know that this is the amount of concrete, then I need 2 hours of mason and so on and so forth. You can create your bundles. So for example, I have one over here. I say supply and install. And then if I just click on that, then it gives me all of the different categories. It gives me my materials, my equipment, my labor, my service across this one bundle. And now all I have to do is to change quantities in here. So I say, okay, my quantity for this is 200. And this time I'll say add this bundle, and it will automatically spread it across. So it knows what aspects of this are materials, what is equipment, what is labor. We can also build in rules in here that for, say, 200 cubic yards of concrete, you need 4 hours of the mason to do the pouring, and so on and so forth. So you can kind of take care of some of that in here. And as you add this bundle, it's kind of working at the back end, and it's adding all of these in to the different sections we have. Now it is telling me that it was successfully added. Now, if I go through this and I refresh, you will see that it has added one more material in here. If I go through equipment, it has brought in the equipment side of things here. If I go to labor and refresh, so I've quickly created my estimate using my bundles. So it's up to you as to how you do that. So this is one way for you to create your estimate. The second way is that you say, this is great, but I am married to my Excel, which is true for, based on a survey, 70% of GCs that they do just Excel-based estimation. In that case, let's say you have an Excel like that. We have an Excel engine that is part of our estimation tool. So that Excel engine tries to parse through your Excel. So what we do is we work with you and we add like a bid detail sheet to that, and we add this bid upload. So it's a very quick and easy process. If whatever estimate sheet you have, we can add these to them, and then we go in and we just upload that in here. So I'll show you that piece. I come in here and I select in this choose file. I go into the Excel file and it will start parsing that and bring that in. I won't show you that because I think you've probably seen that before. If not, then it is available on YouTube with the demos as to how it parses and it brings that in. One way or the other, you're done with your estimation. Let me go back to my bid. So you can see in here that it has now all of the details for your estimate in the system. Now I had one previously already in there, so I'm going to just delete this that I created. But before I do that, I want you to know that it's not just the estimation, it's the whole bidding process that our estimation app automates. What do I mean by that? We know that your estimate will go through 10 to 12 revisions before it is accepted. So you can clone this as many times as you want, but there's a whole workflow process for different statuses that you can have. So for example, if I say I want to close it internally revised, then it closes it, creates a revision of that that you can start sending to your customer. I say I want to close it and create a duplicate, it does that. I can lose it for multiple reasons, so you can track all of those. And when you hit awarded, obviously the process moves forward, which is what I'm going to show you in a second. So for now, let me just quickly delete this bid that I created. And you can see that the bid that I have awarded in here has 147K in it. Right behind this, as soon as it finishes its processing, you will be able to see that. Should be done in a second. It does take some time because it is deleting all of those detailed information. But I have this bid. Now, because I used bold build to generate this, everything is in my system. So now after this, you will not have any double entry, which is again one of the biggest challenges that you have when you're using multiple apps, because I'm using one connected system. So you can see I have all of my materials, my equipment, my labor. Now I'm going to go back and I'm going to say, okay, I generated an estimate in here. I want to send a proposal to this customer. I can go in here, I can click this button, generate proposal. And as soon as I click that, it creates a proposal for me and it attaches it right in here. If I open up this proposal for you and show you the proposal, it's the template I'm using for this demo, but know that any template that you have would work with it. And it pulls in all those details from your bold build system. So for example, in here, you can see it should have my project details. It has the address of the project. It has this UCSD building extension. I have the total number, and then I have it broken down. I have my labor price, my material price, my subcontractor equipment, and this is just one template that I'm using. Let's say you have a more detailed template that you're using, you want it broken down, you have some alternatives, you have some options, add-ons, all of that would come in here as well, directly from the estimate. You don't have to do any double entry. It's just that one click proposal generation. If you make any changes to scope of work, inclusion, exclusions, that would come in here as well. So it's kind of right there, ready to go for you. So you are in the propose stage and you send it to your customer. One other cool thing you can do is you can send it to your customer through DocuSign. So I can say send with DocuSign in here, and it allows me to select which revision I want to select. And then I'll show you an example here I have, which is you can see this is a signed document coming in through DocuSign. So it's integrated. You don't have to put in the signed document yourself. As soon as the document gets signed by your customer, it automatically brings that in. So in again, this case, Christian Bale was my customer. So you will see that this is signed by Christian, which is why you see that I am on the close stage of this. And at this stage, what I do is I go to the bid section and I mark it as awarded, or if it is signed electronically, then through the integration that it automatically gets marked as awarded. And now I am moving from my bidding stage to the pre-construction stage. So this is my first kind of switch from first app, which is you can see here sales, to project management app. And the first thing I want to show you in there is the pre-construction phase of that. So any questions you have, Nick, before I transition over?
Yeah, one question came in about the proposals and the templates that are there. Is it one template, or it says, can it be multiple templates depending on the type of service being required? So I'm guessing either new builds versus like renovations or repairs.
You can have different templates per service, and you can also have a combination. So it depends upon how you want to handle that. But BoldBuild kind of makes it, and it's all configurable. So it's not that we will do it for you, but you can have a template per service.
Got it. Thank you.
Awesome. So now I'm switching over to my project management. Again, just like you saw for the estimation app, I have my dashboard view on my project management as well. And this is a lot more powerful as well, because it gives you real-time insights into how many hours have been put in against a project. This I'm showing you a subcontractor view. But again, this is not the focus of the webinar today, but know that this module is there. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go into pre-construction. So what happens is that you can see that this is the pre-con stage for the UCSD building extension. As soon as I hit award on that bid that you saw in the estimation app, it comes in here. So here this view is for your pre-construction folks, as well as maybe your project manager and stuff. It brings in all the details from my estimation app. And again, when I say brings in, it doesn't have to, because it's just one connected system, but you can see it brings in the fact that it's a construction manager is Miller Construction, Blue Jam, John Smith is my architect. And then it also brings in here the exact bid. So you can see the same bid is here. If I click on it and go in, it's the same bid detail. It brings in my service type, my scope of work, my inclusion, exclusion, and my site as well. But here is when you obviously start going into your setting up your project and start working on it. So what I want to show you next is you can come in here and you can set up your team. So obviously, I'm the BoldBuild general contractor. I go in and I assign my team to this. I say Rob is my project manager. I assign my superintendents and so on and so forth. But the biggest piece I want to show you today is what happens on the procurement side. So if you recall on my bid, I had told you that I'll be using 4 materials. So if I go in here in the procurement section, it is automatically, by the way, using your estimate, and from that estimate, it is creating that, okay, this is the equipment you need for this project. This is the materials that you need. So I need cement, concrete, glass, and TE16, which is my synthetic equipment for environment-friendly construction. So these are the equipments I need, and these are the services I need. So how does BoldBuild pre-construction help you with the whole procurement process and vendor and subcontractor management? So we have an amazing app that is called Vendor Management, which allows you to go through onboarding of your vendors, send them surveys, collect information from them, have their rating in the system. I won't show you that. That's probably for another discussion. But once you have your vendors in the system, our system allows you to go in and, for example, if I say I want to open this vendor pre-qualification, it is going to show me in this app all of these the materials that I have in here. So for example, these are the 4, right? And it's not showing me any of the vendor, but look at this. I say, I want to see who are my preferred cement vendors in my system. As soon as I click on that, it is now showing me all of these guys. It is saying Miller Construction is one of them. Billy Williams, MCOR, Bechtel, and all of these are providing cement. I can select any of these. I can say I want these 2 selected and hit the save button, and it is going to add them to my list of subcontractors I'm choosing for this project based on the materials. Similarly, I can go up and I can say, okay, let's go through concrete. In the concrete now, let me just remove cement to just keep it clean. Now it will just show me my concrete vendors. So you see here, it's showing me all the concrete vendors. I can select the ones I need again. I can go to Bechtel in here, and I hit save, and it adds them into my pre-construction module. Now, where does it add them? So let me show you that. Let me just close this out. If I go to the subcontractor, you would see that it is automatically now showing me all of the subcontractors that I need. So here for this demo, I have these 7 subcontractors that I need as a general contractor to get this project executed. Now, in some instances, If you have a preferred vendor, it automatically adds them. And in some instances, if you don't have a preferred, then you would add them manually like I was showing you. So again, it's a setting that you can make, and it kind of helps you go from there. So this is my subcontractor view now based on my procurement process. But let's see, it doesn't give me, okay, what am I getting from Rip City Construction? I can expand on this. Okay, they are giving me glass for 40,000 is what they have quoted me. I'm using Bechtel here for my cement. I'm using Prestige for my concrete. So this is just one view. But let's say I want to look at it from the material perspective. I look at it from the material, and now it's showing me all of my material. It's showing me it is not providing any of these materials. Bechtel for cement, 60,000, Prestige concrete, and I have different views, right? So I'm looking at now material view. I can go in, I can start looking at, okay, show me for the equipment. These are the equipment, who is providing me my equipment for this job, and so on and so forth. But I can go back to the vendor view. Now, let's say you selected one of the vendors, but here I already show you the pricing. What if I don't have pricing? I want the system to reach out to them and say, I want a proposal for you for this bid. So the system already has that automated for you as well. I'll go into my actions and I click on request for proposal. As I do that, it automatically generates an email, has the RFP template embedded in it, sends it to them, and they can start responding to that. So let me show you how that looks. If I go to my summary view, all of those emails are tracked in my timeline. So if I go in here, you can see the one that I want to showcase here is IDC, which provides me that synthetic service. So I'm going to expand on this email. So you can see here that IDC was sent out this request for proposal, and it says we would like to invite you to submit a proposal. And for the sake of this demo mostly, because obviously what will happen is they would probably create their proposal, they will mail it, like postal mail it to you. But for the sake of this demo, what we do is we kind of have this response from them where they can go in and they can say, I'm submitting this response, it is a proposal, and they can give us the cost. And that is the cost that you see I have in my subcontractor view. Now I could obviously do it the manual way where they send it to me and then I select it, but it's up to me on how I handle that. Now, let's say you get a proposal and you say, I want samples. That is where you would be going into the submittals view, right? So we have worked tirelessly on this submittals module because I know submittals are a huge pain. So what I want to walk you through is I'm as a general contractor, I am going to schedule and ask for samples from IDC, which is my provider for TE16 material, right? So I come in here, I have this flow on the top. I come to the schedule, I say, okay, I need samples of environment-friendly geosynthetic TE16. I set it up and I set up that, okay, I want it from IDC. I create that. Now, when I go into the details, I can say, what do I want to do? I want to get the samples. I want to send it to my architect, which is Sam Jackson in here, as you can see. Sorry, John Smith, architect. He is going to approve them. So I move it through this process. And as I say, Sam, now understand that Sam is not part of BUILD, which is a general contractor. Sam is actually a vendor for TE16. So what happens in our system is I generate the document I want to send him. And this is the attachments module, which is one of my favorite modules because it allows you to merge any of the documents and create one document from it. So for example, and I'll show you where these documents are coming from in the document management section, but you can see I have product data selected here, I have my shop drawings, and it says, okay, you want these to be included in your submittal request. And as I go into my documents in here it has the request that it generates. I can click on the action and I can say, generate my submittal attachment, and it is going to generate this attachment form. So this is what goes out to Sam Jackson, right? This is sent out to Sam via an email. I have some drawings and other stuff, and I say, hey, send me samples. Now, Sam doesn't need another system. You have a portal view. Look at this. I have a portal view, and I'm logged in as Sam. And I can see in here that I had a submittal request come in, and they asked me for the samples. And I can tell them that, hey, I'll be shipping you the samples, but I can also see the document that was generated in here. So you can see that in here, this is the PDF. And I can also send them, hey, here is some more detail about the samples I will be sending you. So this way I can coordinate and communicate with my external vendors as well. You don't need a license for this piece. they can just access this in and they can go in there and they can collaborate with you. So you can have your submittals taken care of. It has a very in-depth transmittal history. And we've also eliminated all the notifications that, hey, you're waiting on this. We have a dashboard that shows you all of those details. And we also didn't want you to just get stuck with your email. So we have these kind of baked into your Teams if you use that. So for example, you can see I received my approval request. So this is what someone requested me. I can approve anything right in here. I can go into the submittals. I can say, hey, I want to just approve it. And I hit submit and it will be approved. So it's all kind of taken care of for you within this section. So this is what I wanted to show you quickly on the estimation side. Now I'm going to go back to my pre-construction. And once I have all of my subcontractors taken care of, I got samples, everything. I said, okay, I want to just now move forward and I want to create a project. And these are the ones that I want to work with. I can click contracted. They will be marked as contracted. And then I'm going to go in and I'm going to create a project. Before I show you, and I'm going to obviously transition over to the project side of things, but there's a scheduler in here as well. And the scheduler is a very nice to use, easy project management tool. It shows you the tasks. We'll cover that more on the project side, so I won't go into the details. But on the project side, you would see that it is one real-time project management. What do I mean by that is, as your project manager creates tasks, your field team works on it. In real time, you can see materials being received, hours being consumed, and what they are doing there. So this is the contract tab. When I feel that I'm ready to go onto the project, I'll hit create the contract. And as part of the contract, creates a project as well. So with this, I'm going to transition over to the project. So this is my contract. I'm going to hit this arrow and it opens up the project for me. So I'm going into the project side now, and I will be wearing the hat of a project manager. Nick, questions for me?
None at this time.
All right, am I going too fast or okay?
I think you're doing good. Covered a lot, but there's a lot to cover.
Awesome. Okay, I'll try to, I'm again trying to show you just some of the cool bells and whistles, which we know are huge pain points in this industry. But I'm on the project now. I have my subcontractors here, all of them carried over. Now what I want to do is I want to say, okay, Rip City was supposed to provide me my glass, and Prestige Concrete obviously was supposed to provide me concrete. I want to generate purchase orders. So I go in the system and we have this create purchase orders section. So I click on that. And just like you saw for the vendor qualification, it is going to show me all of my vendors that I have against this project. And I can start generating my purchase orders. Now, some of them I have generated already. So for example, if I go to Prestige Concrete, you can see it tells me that the estimated quantity when I was in pre-construction was 25 cubic yards. But I already have quantity ordered because I've already done this one. But I can go in and I think there's one that I did not do, which was, I think, this one, MCore, which is for one of the equipment. So I don't have anything on order. I can go in here and I can say generate a purchase order for this. I said this, and I go in and I just hit the create purchase order. And what it does, it just generates all of these purchase orders for me in the system very, very quickly. Now it tells me here being created. I can close this and I can go to my purchase order section. And here are all of the purchase orders that I have in the system that have been created. Now I can quickly review them one by one. As I go in here, you can see this is my purchase request. I can go to the line item. So Curate is providing me this generator. But obviously, I'm more interested in my providers for glass and the materials that I have, which is, for example, in here, I see cement one. And also know that for all of these, it automatically, just like I showed you before, it generates these purchase requests. So for example, if I go to IDC, you can see I have a purchase order. Again, templatized, automatically creates, so you just move it through the process. And this is what my purchase order looks like. And it can be sent out to this company so that they could start sending me my material. But with that, I want to come back. And now I want to spend some time with you on how you would go about structuring your project and executing it. So I have my vendors taken care of, my subcontractor, I have POs, they would be shipping me stuff. So all of that is good. Now let's go back to my scheduler. In here, you see that, just expand. I have created this project plan for the execution of this project, and we have different types of tasks that we can have in here. So it's construction, simple foundation. I'm doing concrete pouring. I'm doing some site work. I have an external company, a geosynthetic construction crew, which is actually doing my textile installation for me. So you can see I have a work order here. I can specify, I can create, mark any of these tasks as work order, milestone. Transmittals can also be tracked in here. I also have obviously my timeline view that gives me all the timeline, and it tells me right here when I'm done with the task, it marks it as 100% and it strikes it out as well. Right. So for example, in here, you see my concrete work is happening over here. One of these tasks is done, and the other task I assigned myself because I'm doing the demo. But Daniel, if you remember, was my foreman, so he was originally assigned to this task. It's very easy to assign. You can assign a team member or you can assign a crew. And I'll show you in resource management towards the end as to how easy that is. But I want to show you how a foreman would use this task to mark their time against it or their team's time and receive concrete. So let me compress this and I'll go into material tracking. So I need some, you can see concrete for this. It tells me here that I ordered 25 cubic yards, estimated that, ordered it, but I've only received 15 cubic yards and I've used 5. So what I want to do is I want to receive all of it. And then I want to come in here and I want to complete this layout footing task. So I'm going to switch over to the Foreman view now. Sorry, I know it's just one demo, I'm switching across. So the foremans use tablets. So they would be in the field and they are using tablets. So the view I'm going to show you looks a lot better in the tablet, but unfortunately, I can't really share my screen on the tablet in GoToWeb. So this is my Foreman view. What the Foreman does is it creates the daily. So you can see I have a daily for this project. I open this up and you will see in here the layout footing task. Again, it is coming directly from my project plan in here. It's showing for the foreman. Foreman says, okay, yes, I want you guys to work on this today. He adds it, right? Then the foreman says, okay, the field people say, we have received 15 cubic yards of concrete, 10 is left. I'm going to receive all 10 of this as well. So I hit 10 here and I submit that. And then on that pouring task, so you can see concrete is gone. It's gone because I've received all of it. I go into my timesheet, and in here now you would see layout footing. You see, I see 2. The reason I see 2 of these tasks is because I have 2 resources assigned in here. So if I just say show me my view, it is going to show me just 1. But I go in here and I say, okay, I worked all day on this. It's an 8-hour task, so I say, okay, 9 to 5. 8 hours, I say, okay, this is it, and I submit this. So in this app, and this works on my phone, so that's why I'm showing you the phone version, so you could kind of relate to that as to how it would work there. And it tells me its timesheet has been created. Now, I have seen so many timesheet apps. I have seen so much feedback based on people saying it's difficult. Imagine this is what your people on the field would see. Your foreman assigns them tasks, they complete it, and they are done. They just have to select the time, and it's even more easier on the app than it is. But in real time now, what happens is that if I go back to my project view and I refresh this in here, do you see that? Like my task, my layout footing is now 100% in real time because somebody on the field said I'm done with this task. And on my material tracking, and it takes a little bit of time for material tracking, but let's see if I go in here, you see how I have received all of my concrete now. So this is kind of the level of detail that you as a project manager sitting in the office will be able to track if you're using our tool BUILDFitters for your project execution. Now, the fun doesn't obviously end here. I want to show you, and there's a lot more I can show you in here, but there are other modules I want to show you. So outside of this, I want to tell you that one of the biggest challenges is obviously document management. So our platform resolves that. So we have this complete document management system in here. So if I go in here and I can select multiple locations, by the way. And all the documents that I showed you in the beginning a proposal generation, I showed you submittal, I showed you purchase order, everything that Bold will generate, it automatically puts it in the right folder. So what does that mean? Let's say if I go to my submittals, and this is just one place. all of your documents that you're generating while you started from sales, pre-construction, they're all in here. This is the submittal that I generated in the submittal section when I was in pre-construction. But I see it here because it's just one connected system. And it has given me all of these folders, and they help you in two ways. One, obviously you have the folders to upload the right way and organize your content the right way. And secondly, if it generates document itself, which it does for most of the documents, like change requests, purchase orders, RFPs, it puts them in the right folders for you. For example, if I go into request for proposal, it would have the request for proposal document that it sent to all of these vendors as part of the onboarding in here as well. So it kind of is amazing, and it's all stored on the cloud. You can access it through BuildFitters, but you can also access it outside BuildFitters. Now, we talked about collaboration. So you see here is the collaborate button. What happens is that we have two kind of focuses on collaboration. One is communication between the internal team. So the first one is that, so we have integration with Teams. If I select this, what will happen is it will open this whole project within Teams. So let me just show you that here. So this is how this looks like if I look at it inside Microsoft Teams. So you see all the details that you were seeing in there, like procurement, if I go to my material tracking, and just to show you, so it's all real-time tracking that I have. So for example, in here, it is showing me all of that. So if I just try to refresh this, it is going to show me all of the details that I have within Teams, and I can quickly access them. I can start communicating with my team right from here as well. So I can go in and I can say, show me the material track. And I look at the material and I say, okay, we have received all 25. We have only used 5. For now, I can say Mahmoud, who is one of my team members on this, say why we have not consumed all concrete. And he can come back to me and say anything, and this message goes directly to him, and we can start communicating and collaborating. So this is one level of collaboration we have. The other is we also have Office 365 groups. Some of you who are familiar with this, it comes in handy because it gives you an email for this project. You can send out emails, you can start collaborating, you can have a calendar view, conversation, whatever you want to do in terms of this project to be able to collaborate, you can do that right in here as well. Now, one thing I touched upon was, as I was in the schedule, I told you that I can have team members, like I see here, myself and John, but I also can have crew. All of that is through our resource management. So in the resource management, I can go in here, I can click on resources, and I have my resource booking, I can have crew. So I can go and I can put in the crew that, okay, this is the crew for this project. And all of that is managed through this, and I can see that in here. Now, last couple of things I want to show you is in the Foreman app, we also can track our equipment. So if I go onto the equipment section, I can see what equipment is on site. So you can see my generator is on site, my security lights are here, my dump truck. I can move it from here to another site location. I can call it off. We use the terms delivered and called off. Delivered means delivered to the site. Called off means it gets called off from the site. And last but not least, we have the contract. Every project obviously has a contract. This is where all the pricing is established. We are using price lists in here. The budget kind of lives on the contract as well. And within our contract management, again, we have templatized doing change orders as well. And all of the vendors that I had, they all had child contract to manage that collaboration with those vendors, and all of them live in here as well, along with their budgets. So that is kind of what I wanted to cover from the demo standpoint. I'll take you back to my slide deck here. And I want to just leave you with this, that using BuildFitters, you can save up to 2.5 million in the tasks that you're spending time on right now, the non-optimal task or the task that we can make more efficient. You can eliminate rework because of effective collaboration and configurations that I showed you. We have a complete executive level insights through the dashboard, and most importantly, rather, it's one integrated system which gives you one single comprehensive view of everything that is happening in your organization. So with that, I hand it over to Nick.
All right, thank you. And Again, we went over a lot today, but it is almost the tip of the iceberg with what BuildBuild can do. I did want to do one more poll for you guys, just to get your feedback on what you thought about BuildBuild and what you saw today. Is BuildBuild something you could see yourself or your organization using, or could it improve upon some things? Yes, you need it now, which we would be happy to provide for you. Possibly, I'd like to see more. We are more than happy to set up a demo where it's more catered to what your specific needs are. Maybe in the future. Nope, we're all set. Again, remember, there are pieces of BuildBuild. So let's say you're just struggling with RFI submittals. Let's just say you're only struggling with project management. We can piece this out. And so that way we fit your needs. Again, as Type said, there are different apps associated with this solution. And so you don't necessarily need the whole thing. We can always just focus in on one. All right. So again, thank you guys for your responses. Truly appreciate it. Moving on to next steps, which kind of coincides with that poll. If you did see this, do like it, want to check it out, we can set up a free trial for you, and you'll be able to actually dig into it for 2 weeks and see how it can actually improve maybe some of the processes within your own organization and get your hands dirty, really. So we can then, after that demo or trial period, if it is something you want to adopt into your organization, we can have a call with you, sit down, map it to your current processes, and make it so it becomes your own and is something that fits your needs. So I believe the next page is our, nope, I think we have one more page. Packages, yes. The packages, these are our kind of standard packages that give you an idea of what we're looking at as far as licensing, as well as the actual setup and implementation of BuildBuild. Again, it's all based on the user counts, and then there's also some customization involved with your different processes. So that's something we map to once you get through that trial and want to get BuildBuild adopted into your organization. On the next page, we do have our contact information. Oh, nope, we have questions. I keep jumping ahead to that contact information. We did have a question though, in regards to accounting and what platforms BuildBuild integrates with for the accounting side. And so, pretty much the answer is any, right?
Yeah, so it's an API-based system. It can integrate with almost any system out there, but we've experience with accounting integration. So we have integrated with small systems like QuickBooks and Business Central, bigger systems like Dynamics AX, NetSuite. We can integrate with SAP as well, JD Edwards. So you tell us which accounting system you're using, and we should be able to have BuildBuild work with that system.
Perfect. Then as I finish up, if any other questions come in, I will be sure to answer them. Please feel free to enter them. But yeah, this is our contact info. I did enter our BuildBuild website in the chat. So if you did want to check out a little bit more too, feel free to click that link and check out all of the capabilities there. We will be reaching out to you with the recording. We'll send out the slide deck and maybe a couple other resources as you learn more about BuildBuild. And again, if you did want that free trial, please let us know. We'll get that set up for you. Doesn't look like we got any other questions. So I think that's a wrap for us. Again, appreciate all you guys' time today, and we'll talk to you afterwards.
Thank you so much. Thank you.